Welcome to Fight Waves. Audio Journeys by Kung Fu Academic. I'm Verca Partikova, and I would like to take you behind the scenes of fighting, living in a training camp in Thailand, and my lifelong journey through the martial arts. I am the Kung Fu Academic, earned my PhD in sports psychology, after which I decided to leave academia to become a professional fighter. Step with me into the ring to share the raw reality, the continuous search for mental strength, and all the ups and downs. Today I am talking about Kung Fu life in Hong Kong, training at an old factory house at night, and drinking tea and eating dim sum, and that no one will actually tell you what the rules are until you break them. And knowing them and what is expected from you from the Kung Fu community can be the difference between learning martial arts as a tourist and actually being at the source and being allowed to learn in depth. And before we start, I also would like to say thank you very much for listening and for sending me messages and emails. This really means a lot for me. And please share this podcast and follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you're listening. And if you want to send me a message, you can do so on my social media or kungfuacademic@gmail.com. Thank you. Kung Fu has been a huge part of who I am. It's been 17 years since I started training and 8 years of my life in Hong Kong, where I moved to because of Kung Fu. That was my main motivation. And even though now I am putting all my energy and time and effort into MMA because I feel like there is a time limit there, I believe that I will circle back to more Kung Fu training in the future again. And in some of the next episodes, I would like to talk about this idea that Kung Fu is useless in MMA. I do have something to say about it on this topic, but not today. Today I would like to take you a few years back in time, take you to Hong Kong, to where I used to live, training and not really talking much to people in English because I lived in areas where all the Chinese people lived because I wanted to learn Cantonese, and my main social circle was our Kung Fu school where I spent my evenings, and I was the only foreigner there and the only female, and fast enough I was quite well known in Hong Kong as the white and crazy women training Kung Fu, so they knew me well. My Sifu, Wong Chun Man, is a great guy. So Sifu, which means a teacher or master, but we understand it pretty much also like in terms of like a father figure or a mother figure as well, if that's a woman, like a parent role. When I moved to Hong Kong and I started going to his classes, after the training we would always go to have dinner, and he always ordered some shrimps, and I hated shrimps. I didn't really like seafood because back at home in the Czech Republic we don't have much seafood, and all the fish are like frozen and very expensive, so you don't get to eat like these things often. And he was always like, oh, I don't like these, so this is just for you, because you are the guest, so you can eat them. And later on I found out not only that Sifu likes shrimps, but he loves them, but he wanted me to have them because I was the guest. And by the time I actually learned how to like shrimps, because I had to eat them almost every time we had dinner together. we would go to this San Santen, which is like a canteen, like very local type of restaurant, with only a Chinese menu. And the staff, they knew me. They didn't know my name, right? But they knew me. So every time I didn't come for a while, and then I appear, they were asking. They were always like talking to Sifu about me, never like to me directly, right? So they were like asking him like, where has she been, and what's happening? Like, did she go home or what? And if something happened, for example, I started fighting or some kind of news like that, he would be like updating everyone. He would be like talking to people, and again, they would not talk to me directly. They would just like talk to him and then look at me and maybe smile or show me like a thumb up, and then talk to him again. So I was kind of part of the communication, but also like very much no. And there are different kind of interests of people who are training kung fu. I should probably say that the style I'm in is Hung Gar or Hung Kyun, or sometimes also known as the tiger and crane style. So there are people who are who train and who specialize in the forms, because we have lots of them. So they kind of like collect them, or they even learn like different versions of the same form, and they are that's their like their know-how. That's their specialty. And then there are also people who specialize in history, so they can tell you, exactly what happened when. They have all the stories, or all the like kind of like a kung fu fairy tale stories, and they know all these like historical connections and so on. And I was never one of those. What I was always like interested in was how to use that, the fighting application. We call it application, which means like how do you apply that movement in a fight? Because let's say you train Muay Thai, and you teep, you do the front kick, and well, you know how to use it, right? It's like quite obvious. You kick the person, it's a front kick. Like what else you want to think about? But in kung fu, the movements are much more like mysterious. Sometimes as much that they can't be used anymore. But that's a different topic. But they are not so straightforward. So because often they contain also some kind of grappling, or sweeping, or fighting for a grip. So the movements are like, you need the key, you need the application, someone to tell you like how to use it, how to apply it. So that's what I was always interested in, which like later brought me to MMA. So in the evening, in the kung fu school, when everyone left, or like the last few people stayed behind, that's when Sifu would teach me how to use things, or he will show me like how this is used, how that is used. And in the beginning, it was quite a problematic issue, because I am a woman, obviously, and he is a man, obviously, and he doesn't want to hit a woman, which is of course also obvious. And so he also was like afraid, like how much I can take. So of course it wasn't like he would punch me with his fist. No, but these like applications, these like, I don't know, sweeps and stuff, they are pretty rough. So it helped a lot that I never like complain. And also when I started fighting, then he was like, oh, okay, so I can actually like, she's not gonna cry or anything. But of course it was still like much more gentle than like what I am doing now in my like, typical like MMA training day. But still, so like in the evening we would be like there in the gym, in the old factory house, where there are still like people working. It's like 10, 11 a.m. 11 p.m. And you can hear some drumming of a lion dance, because there's another maybe lion dance school on the other floor, and it's all dark, and it looks like from some old Jackie Chan movie. And when I used to teach my students, I would always bring them up to my sifu to like see the space and to see the old kung fu school. And they always comment like it seems like from a kung fu movie, and it also seems like someone gonna murder them somewhere like behind the corner, maybe like with a fisherman's knife or something like that. So yeah, so that's how we would like finish the training with some like applications and some like not really sparring. That was never really done in there, and that's what actually brought me to like look for places where I could spar, because didn't want to be that kind of coach, or sifu if you wish, or just a kung fu practitioner that was never hit and that like doesn't know how to fight. So I was looking for places where I could spar and like cross train, which then kind of got out of control and I totally fell in love with MMA. But that's another story. Another typical like way how we spent time together with my sifu was dim sum, yam cha, going for like a brunch, or it can be anything between breakfast, brunch, or lunch, or even up to like 2 p.m. So dim sum are like small dishes, like usually some kind of dumplings, and to order lots of them, they have like different fillings. Some are sweet, some are savory. You can also order some veggies or some desserts like condensed milk with coconut, or a mango pudding with vanilla sauce. This is like these two are my favorites, so Sifu always order them for me. Even now, when I come to visit him in Hong Kong, and I'm like super hungry and I'm trying to like get some food. First thing he order is like, egg and coconut, like a dessert for me, because that's special and he remembers that I like it. So we have very much like a father daughter relationship, but pretty much it's affected by how like our communication is. We still can communicate pretty well, but so we speak in English because my Cantonese is not much. I can understand if he teaches in Cantonese, then I can understand pretty well. But for like normal conversation, it's not enough. And his English is he's good, but he's shy to use it. So I wish we could like talk more, for sure. So we are sitting in this dim sum restaurant, and all the staff, of course, they again know me and they know him because he's there like every, I don't know, every weekend or even every morning. Like normal people, they have to queue up to get the tickets for the table, and then sometimes they have to like wait in the queue for like half an hour to get in. My sifu, no, he just walks in, he gets a table, and then I can come to the restaurant and I can be asking the staff like, do you know where's my sifu? And they will be like pointing like, oh, he's sitting over there. So like everyone knows him. And so again, the staff will like come and they will ask about me. Never ask me. They will ask about me to my sifu, and then he will be telling them the stories, like what's new with me, and I don't know what kind of fight I had, and so on. And they will take pictures, and it's pretty much like going back to a family, even with all these like communication barriers. And when we are sitting at the table, then Sifu loves tea, especially pole, puer, like a very dark tea. Some people joke that it tastes like old socks or ground. I don't know, but I pretty much like the taste. And one person usually at the table is the one responsible for everyone having like tea in their cups. So there are two kettles, one with hot water and one with the tea. So you either use the water to if your tea in the cup is like too strong, you make it like weaker, or you use the kettle with the hot water to refill the kettle with the tea when the tea is like gone, because the leaves are still in there. And I always joke that like back at home in the Czech Republic, we love tea a lot, And if you go to a tea house or tea shop, then everyone will be like, okay, so you use 75 degrees, for this kind of tea, and you use 72 degrees and keep it, in this kind of temperature. And then you go to Hong Kong and everyone use 100 degrees, boiling water, and then leave the leaves there for like forever, for 3 hours during like eating the dim sum, and it's just like tea disaster. And so one person make sure that everyone has their tea. My sifu loves to be this kind of person. It's also kind of like like taking care of the other people at the table. So most often it's not even like the youngest one, or the lowest level person or a hierarchy at the table, but it can be the highest one, showing like he's taking care of you, of the other people. So sometimes we had some visitors from other countries, and when we went for dim sum, Sifu, he likes to sit with my kung fu uncles, which are all the other guys, like, I don't know, 40 to 80 years old, who train with him, and they are all uncles to me. So he can like speak Cantonese to them, and they are very loud, and they are joking and laughing very loud. And then there's the table of us, foreigners, and usually I am the person who will be pouring the tea to everyone. And you can see like that no one actually understands at the table that I'm taking care of them. They're like, oh, she's just like serving us. But the difference, the meaning is so different in the cultures, that sometimes, and this is just like one of the examples, I'm really glad that I spent so much time in Hong Kong so I could experience this. So when situation like this happen, I can actually like see what is happening, because Kung Fu is often not only like the movement you do, but also everything around it, the culture, the way how you treat other people, the how you interact, with your circle, the hierarchy, how you pay respect. And like the tea serving is pretty much like paying respect. Quite well, not quite often, but almost always when someone pour tea to you, you don't like stop speaking and say, oh, thank you, but you use your fingers to knock on the table when they pour the tea. So you knock on the table next to the tea to say like thank you, and you can keep talking. But this is an act of respect, just as much as that if we are at the table, it's a pretty much it is like a big round table, and all the food is in the middle, and then everyone's waiting, to start. Then I would take my chopsticks and I would pick a piece of the food and I would put it in my Sifu's bowl. And he would complain like, I'm not hungry, you start first, it's okay. But still, it's expected, and this is like an act of respect. So I will still do it, and it doesn't matter like how much my Sifu will complain, I will still do it every single time. And it's expected. And if I don't do it because I don't know about this, they will be like, they will not tell you that you are doing something wrong, but they will know. And you don't know, they know. And no one actually tells you, when you arrive, they won't like, pull you aside and tell you like, oh, okay, so these are the rules. This is what we expect you to do. And this is what are the mistakes. Don't do that. This is okay. This is allowed. This is very much not okay. It doesn't happen. You have to learn through your mistakes and looking at their reactions. And the more you do what they like or what they expect you to do as a student of like traditional martial art, the bigger is the chance for you to actually learn more and get more corrections and get more details. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But I could talk ages about this, and it would like take so many episodes. So wait for the next one, and thank you for listening.